Hello and welcome to outside my van. Minus 22 degrees today, although this is the hottest part of the day. It's only minus 14 at the moment. Just outside my van, as you can see. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I got prepared by putting the cover on the windscreen, but as it turned out, it hasn't been too bad. I have a problem. I've got no water inside. Somewhere it must have frozen. I don't know where, and but anyway, I'll have to work that one out once the weather thaws a bit. The water inside the water tank, though, is in, well, normal temperature. It's pretty cold, but it's not. It's still water as opposed to ice. During the night, it wasn't too bad at all. Although, having said that, maybe when you're asleep, you don't tend to notice such things. I didn't have the heating on at the max, so of course, as soon as I got up, I put on the electric heater on full go. So that's a little. What do you call it? One of these air heater things, fan heater. So I've got that on, and I've also got the underfloor heating on. So that's about 2.8 kilowatts. And to be quite honest, it seems okay. The temperature said 22 degrees inside, so that isn't too bad as far as I'm concerned. Right, now I'm going to have a little bit more look around, see what it's like in other places, and I shall report back with more information a little while. So I've tried walking around a bit, but it's a bit cold. Now, I have been in colder weather than this before. I did actually stay some time in Moscow, and but though I think the coldest weather I've known in my life was in Poland in the winter of 98, 99, and I think it dropped then to, I think it was minus 30, I think. As a rule, I find it gets to about between minus 5, minus 10, and then beyond that, you can't really feel it anymore until it drops to about below minus 20. Then you feel like the new stage of cold. I was supposed to be going to Moscow. That was planned a long time ago. In the winter, to do an RV trip in Russia in winter, but because of COVID, that didn't happen. So, having walked around now a little bit, I'm feeling a little bit out of breath, and so I think I'll just go back. I've got difficulty as well, because look, I haven't put any gloves on. Well, my other hand's got a glove on because I couldn't do it with two gloves not on. It's a bit on the cold side, so I think I'll go in now. So, back in my van, and I can see now, and it's pretty cold out there. Now, last night, I thought I'd read about Scott of the Antarctic. For those who don't know, Captain Scott, he was the second person to get to the South Pole. Now, when I was around 10 years old or thereabouts, went to a place called New Biggin-on-the-Sea with the Boys Brigade. And New Biggin's to the north of Newcastle on the Northumberland coast. And at there, one of the leaders of the Boys Brigade told us the glorious story of Scott of the Antarctic, who by coming second, he was remembered in history more than he would have been had he been in first position. Now, he tried to be the first person to get to the South Pole, and he failed. And the reason he failed was largely through his own incompetence, although he was regarded as a national hero in the United Kingdom for a very long time. He, in fact, isn't, well, maybe he is because he died and all the rest of it, but it was largely through incompetence, which a number of books have since pointed out since then. Anyway, so I thought I'd read about his adventures and then thought compare them to my own, trying to be in a motorhome at minus 22. Now, Scott of the Antarctic, he had to walk about 1,200, I think, 1,300 kilometers overpack ice. Obviously, it was summer, it was late summer, but summer for the Antarctic, which is still pretty cold. And one of the things that happened to him was he was carrying piles of fossils with him instead of really trying to survive. He's lugging this heavy sledge with fossils on it. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, oh sorry, I should have showed my hand when I got back, because that one was ungloved for a while. This one was gloved all the time. That's still pretty red. Good, right, so I'm back now. It's 19 degrees inside, and that's a bit more like it as far as I'm concerned. And so now I think I'll just spend the rest of the day inside, because I don't fancy going out at all. I mentioned the water was not working, but fortunately I do have bottled water still, and the water I took and put into a plastic container. So by the time you see this, of course, the temperature will possibly have got a bit better, but anyway, we'll find out. So best regards here from central Poland, and I should have been in Sicily right now. I would have been had COVID not got in my way and spoilt it for me. Day 2. It's a nice sunny day here, although it's pretty cold, and I've got to say though, inside I was perfectly okay, nice and warm. Now I'm out. I've got this jacket on underneath that. I've got a quilted jacket underneath that. I've got a thick jumper underneath that, a shirt, then a t-shirt, then a vest. Unfortunately, my winter stuff is somewhere else. It ended up in another part of the country, so I wasn't able to pick it up. So I've had to make do with what I've got, but what I've got, as it turned out, has been perfectly acceptable. Indoors, I'm wearing a little bit more than normal. Sometimes I do have my trousers plus my tights on, the long johns, as well as two vest, t-shirt plus shirt, versus normally wouldn't be sitting with that on possibly, but all the same, it's not bad at all. Slept very well indeed. If anything, it was a little bit too warm, but that was probably because I left the heating on full blast, which I normally don't do. So it's not quite as good inside. It's nowhere near as good as it was with the Hymer S500 I was in 4 years ago, and you can see the videos of that, but so far I'm managing okay. And tomorrow the temperatures should be coming back to normal. One little problem though was I couldn't get the door open this morning. It had frozen itself closed. Friend came round to see me, and the two of us as well, we couldn't get it open, but I wasn't too bothered. I thought it's gonna get back to life before long, so I should be okay. I'll come back with more later if anything else happens. Thanks for watching.